Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the 1979 All-Star Game based on the 1979 play of the NBC Game of the Week. So we are at the All-Star break. 79 All-Star Game occurred at the Kingdome in Seattle. So we have National League against the American League. Nolan Ryan will get the start for the American League, and Steve Carlton will get the start for the National League. Take off some of that glare. I think that might help a little bit, hopefully. And let's look at our starting lineups for both teams. First, for the National League, it'll be Davey Lopes at second base, Dave Parker in right, Steve Garvey at first, Mike Schmidt at third, George Foster in left, Dave Winfield in center. He is not rated for center field. He's rated for right field. So I deducted 1 from his range and made him a 4 instead of a 5 since he's out of position. Bob Boone catching, Larry Bow at short, and Steve Carlton is the pitcher. For the American League, Roy Smalley leads off at short, George Brett at third, Don Baylor in left, Jim Rice in right field, Freddie Lynn in center, Carl Yastrzemski at first, Darrell Porter catching, Frank White at second, and Nolan Ryan pitching. No pitchers hit in this game. The pitchers were scheduled to hit. There was no DH, but no pitcher ever came to the plate. They always pinch hit when the pitchers came up, so we will do the same. All right. Let's see here. So we're going to move the ballpark card out of the way for now. And we have Nolan Ryan on the mound, and he will be facing Davey Lopes. Let's get my pen and everything ready to go. All-Star game from the Kingdome. Ryan to Lopes. Let's see if I can back up a little bit more. Maybe that helps. I don't know. So we see more of what's going on here, hopefully. I can get everything as much as I wanted in here. I think that's about the absolute best I can do with it. So we'll have to go with it. So Nolan Ryan, Davey Lopes. And I'm going to roll the D20 separately. So 2-4 for Nolan Ryan. 2-4 is a walk plus. Davey Lopes against right-handers already walks at a 23, so we don't even need the D20. We just know that he walks. I mean, that's pretty much automatic. Davey Lopes is going to walk. Let's look at his attempt. He has attempt of 5 to steal. Ryan's a 0. So we'll do the strategy roll and get an 18, so there is no stolen base attempt. We could bunt, but we're not going to bunt with Dave Parker. Are you kidding me? You don't bunt with Dave Parker. Cobra. 4-3, and that is a strikeout chance. We look at Parker. He strikes out at a 12. Stadium adds 2, makes it a 14. 1-14, he strikes out. It's a 19, so he does not strike out. He'll get the swing on the house. Here's Parker. 3-3, and that's a star 2, which is a fly to center, and there's 1 away. Good evening, Mr. Harris. How are you doing? Hello, Brian B. So Parker flies to center, 1 away, and that brings up Lopes' teammate, Steve Garvey. Nothing on the strategy roll. Here's Ryan. 5-6 for Ryan, and that is an automatic out against a right-handed batter. The automatic out will be a 4. Ground ball to third, possible double play. His double play rating is a 3. Ryan adds nothing. They're halfway, makes it a 4. The pivot is the second baseman, and that is White. He's a -1 on his pivot, drops it down to a 3. 1-3, it's a double play. And it's a 5, so they get the force on Lopes, and that is it. It'll go down as a 5-4 fielder's choice. If you're scoring at home, you know you should be. 2 down, and Garvey now the runner at first base. Strategy roll for Garvey. Nothing happened. Here's Michael Jack Schmidt. Hello, Triple G. Michael Jack Schmidt. 1-1, and that's a potential wild pitch. 1-15. We got a wild pitch. And we do. So Garvey will take second base on the wild pitch by Ryan. He's a little wild. He's walked the batter and now thrown a wild pitch. So now he faces Schmidt. 2 outs now and runner at second. 4-5, and that's going to be another walk plus. So Schmidt will walk. Second walk by Ryan. And that'll bring up George Foster. That's a 4-2, and that's a strikeout chance. Foster strikes out as a 15, add 2, make it a 17. And this time Foster will strike out, and that will end the inning. Nothing doing for the National Leaguers. Ryan a little bit wild, but gets out of it. Hello, Ernest. Good to see you. So we go to the bottom of the first with the score. National League nothing, and the American League coming to bat. And the pitcher will be Steve Carlton. Carlton only pitched 1 inning in this game in real world, and that's what I'm limiting to. He's only going to pitch this 1 inning. We will pinch hit for him in the top of the second. All right, so Roy Smalley will get the leadoff assignment for the American League, shortstop. We get a 4-1, potential error on a throw. So now we go to Smalley and see what he has. 6-2, ground ball to third, possible error on a throw by the third baseman. The error rating on Mike Schmidt is a 10. He's a 10. So 1 to 10, we have a throwing error. And we do not. So it's good play made by Schmidt. And Smalley is out of there. That'll bring up George Brett. 3-6 for Carlton. That's a ball. 2-2. That's a blank. We go to Brett. 6-3. It's a ground ball to first base. It's a split chance against a lefty. He grounds out. Right-hander would have been a single, but just a ground out to Garvey. 2 quick outs. And that brings up Don Baylor. Baylor, left fielder. 2-5, and that is a potential hit by pitch. And wouldn't you know that we would hit Carlton's hit by pitch card when Don Baylor is batting. He's an 11, plus 1's a 12. 1 to 12 is a hit by pitch. And there you go, right on cue, Don Baylor gets plunked. Hit by pitch, and that's going to bring up Jim Rice. Baylor's attempt to steal is a 4. Carlton takes 1 away, makes it a 3. He gets the 3, so he has the option to try to steal if he would choose. Doesn't have to. 13, -3 for the Carlton hold, and then Boone is a -1 arm, so that drops it down to a 9. So they're going to hold him at first base and just let Jim Rice swing away. Hello, Paul. See you. Jim Rice. 6-3, and that's a walk chance on Carlton. Rice walks at a 13 against lefty. Stadium has 2, 1 to 15, so walk. And we will have a walk. So all of a sudden now we got Baylor and Rice on board. 2-out rally without a hit for the American League. And that brings up Freddie Lynn. Carlton to Lynn. 3-5, and that is a double question mark pitcher result. Against a left-hander, it's a 1 to 10 for an automatic out. And that's a 1, so it will be an automatic out. And the automatic out is a 6, which is a fly to right. And that'll do it. Nothing doing. Caveat, if the National League goes 1, 2, 3 in the top of the second and Carlton does not come to bat, then I will allow him to pitch the second inning. Otherwise, he will be coming out for a pinch hitter. All right. So Dave Winfield, who is in center field for this. So I took 1 away, made him a 4 instead of a 5 because he's switching to a harder defensive position. Hello, Alex. Good to see you. Here is Mr. Winfield. Whoops, got to have, it would help to have the right pitcher in there, Nolan Ryan. This will be the final inning for Ryan, too. Nobody pitched more than 2 innings in this game. Ryan to Winfield, 2-5, and that's a straight up home run off of Ryan. Straight up home run against the right-handed hitter. Winfield's a 20, so it's automatic. It is gone. Dave Winfield leads off the top of the second with a solo home run, and the National League takes a 1-0 lead. And that means Carlton is done because his turn will come up for sure now. Here's Bob Boone. 5-4, and that is a strikeout chance. Boone is only a 6. Stadium does add 2 to make it an 8. And it's 19, so that means Boone swings. 5-4, he's going to single to left field. Bob Boone singles to left, brings up Larry Boa. Strategy roll for Boone, nothing happening. Here's Ryan pitching to Boa. 6-1 is a walk chance. Boa walks at an 11. Stadium adds 2 is a 13. And it is a 13. So we have first and second. Nobody out. And now we got an interesting decision. Do we let Carlton bunt? I believe he's a 4-bunter, but the pitchers never hit in this game. So Carlton gave up 3 runs in the first inning in real world and was taken out for a pinch hitter. Dr. D, it just takes some time to get used to it, but I think it's something that you could, if you can follow Strat Super Advanced, I think you can follow this one pretty well as well. So we're going to go to a pinch hitter because we got a lot of guys on the bench for the National League that are on this roster that need to be used, and some of them never even got in the game real world. So we've got all these guys. All these guys are on the bench, so they need to be used. So let's see who we're going to go to on the bench. We're going to go to, all right, Ryan. So you're thinking lefty because Ryan's a righty. So we're thinking about using a left-handed pinch hitter. So who do we use here as a left-handed pinch hitter? We're going to go to Craig Reynolds from the Houston Astros. He was on this roster. So Craig Reynolds is going to hit for Carlton. And Joaquin Andujar, who came in to pitch after Carlton Real World, will come in and pitch the next inning as well. Andujar did go 2 innings Real World. All right, so Reynolds will pinch hit against Nolan Ryan. Runners at first and second, nobody out. That's a 1. But he's not yet. He can't steal or anything. So here's Ryan with this pitch to Reynolds. 1-3. That would be a single if Ryan was tired. He's not tired, so it's a blank. Go to Craig Reynolds. Finish the at-bat. 2-3 for Reynolds. That's a fly ball to right field. 1 away. Now the question is, can Boone go to third base? Well, with Parker in right field, I wouldn't suggest it. So they're going to hold Boone right there. So Reynolds fails in his pinch hitting attempt. And I'm going to try to get all these players in the game as best I can. I will hold back 1 pitcher just in case it goes extra innings, but I'm going to try to get all the position players in there at least. All right, so Davey Lopes is your batter. 1 out, 1 in and 2 on for Lopes. This is inside pitch, Paul. This is inside pitch. All right, not the advance. This is the inside pitch original. All right, so here is Ryan's pitch to Lopes. I'm sorry, pitch to Lopes because we already checked Ryan. 6-3, and it's a ground ball to second. This could be a double play. Lopes' double play rating is a 2. Ryan doesn't add anything. The infield is halfway, which bumps us up to a 3. With a hit to second base, we're checking the pivot of the shortstop, Smalley. He's a +1, so that's going to make it a 1-4. So 1-4, and we have a double play that ends the inning. We do not. We have a 5, but it will be a force play. So Boone will go to third. Boa is out. Lopes take first on the fielder's choice. So a 4 to 6 fielder's choice is the scoring on this. Boa out at second, Boone going to third, and Lopes sitting at first base, where Lopes has a chance to get a lead, see if he can steal. He needs to roll a 5 or less to get that lead, and he does not, so he will hold. Here's Ryan to the Cobra, Dave Parker. 6-5, that's a possible error. We'll roll on Parker and see who the error is against. 5-3, it's going to be a single to first base, but this is the only chart you need in this game. It's laminated, comes that way, laminated. So we go to the possible error section, which is right here, E question mark, which is what we rolled the first time. And the result was a single, which is in yellow here. So that means it's no error check, as no error can be made. Instead, it turns into a speed check. We're going to roll 1d6 versus the hitter's base running. The roll is higher, hitter is out, otherwise it's a single. Parker runs at a 4. So we're going to roll 1d6. If it's a 5 or higher, he's out. 4 or less, it's an infield single, and Boone will score, but it won't be an error. And that's a 2. So if Boone's going to come in to score, Lopes will take second, Parker will take first, and it will be deemed an infield single. Infield single. Makes it 2-0 National League, as Boone comes in to score and Lopes goes to second. Over the Lopes steal again? Sure. To steal, they have an attempt rating, which is right here. That's the number we have to roll on a D20. This or less will allow them to steal. That is modified by the pitcher hold rating, which is the number to the left of the slash here, 0. So in this case, that's a 5. If we roll a 5 or less on the D20, that means Lopes can steal. He doesn't have to, but he can steal. Now, for the stolen base itself, Lopes has a stolen base rating of 18. That is modified by the number to the right of the slash. Nolan Ryan's a +1, so that makes him a 19. But then we do the catcher arm, which in this case is, or would be, Porter, who's a -2. So that would drop it down to a 17. Then you re-roll the D20. If it's 1 to 17, he's safe. If it's 18 or higher, he's out. All right. So Parker with the infield single, and now here comes Steve Garvey. 6-5, and that's another possible error. E question mark. We'll see who the defensive check is on. That's a 1-2. It's a star line 5, and on Ryan's card, the star line 5 is a ground ball to short. We're checking the shortstop Smalley. His error rating for Smalley, look at his card, his error number is a number 9. That's the number in parentheses. So a 1 to 9 on the D20, he makes an error. 10 or higher, he makes the play. And that's a 6, so he's going to boot it. That'll be a 1 base error, and everybody's going to be safe. E6. E6 on Roy Smalley. Loads the bases for Mike Schmidt. And there are 2 outs. I forgot to move a little peg here. There are 2 outs for Mike Schmidt. Ryan, 1-3, and he's not tired, so that's going to be a blank instead of a single. We go to Schmidt. 5-3 for Schmidt, and against a right-hander, that is a split chance, but against a right-hander, right of the slash, it's a ground ball to short. Had Ryan been a left-handed pitcher, it would have been a single pass short. But here it's a ground ball to short, and that's going to end the inning. That's going to do it for Ryan. 2 runs for the National League, and they take a 2-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the second inning. And that's going to be all for Nolan Ryan. So now, with Carl Yastrzemski coming to the plate. New pitcher for the National League will be Joaquin Andujar of the Astros. He will get the call. He will face Yastrzemski, Porter, and White. And if anybody else gets on, a pinch hitter for Nolan Ryan, as Ryan's day is done. So Ryan ends up going 2 innings. And I'm not worried about walks and strikeouts. I'm just counting hits and runs. Looks like 3 hits and 2 runs. Just so I can keep a running total here. And let's see. For Carlton, he went 1 inning, gave up no hits, no runs. Okay. All right, Andujar to Yastrzemski. 4-3, and that is a blank on Andujar, so we skip that and go right to Yastrzemski. 5-5. It's a liner to first base. Lines it right to the first baseman. And standing there waiting for it is Garvey, 1 away. For Darryl Porter, the catcher. Whoop, that got held up there. Let's try it again. 4-1, and that's a possible hit by pitch. He's a 9. Take away 5 from it, so it's a 1-4 to be hit by a pitch. And he's not hit by the pitch, so he will swing. Porter, 5-6. He's going to line it to Schmidt at third base. So 2 hard hit balls, but 2 outs, and that brings up Frank White. 3-6. That's an automatic out with that star line there. Let's see what the star line number is. It's a 1, so he's going to ground it to second base. Lopes is there, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Joaquin Andujar. He is done. Actually, Andujar will come back and pitch a second inning. But now we need a new pitcher for the American League. And they will probably go to a relief pitcher because they're just going to go, they just need to pitch 1 inning. So they're going to go to Mark Clear of the Angels. He will get the call to pitch this 1 inning. Just to pitch the 3rd inning. And then they'll pinch hit for him in the bottom half of the inning. It'll be George Foster, Dave Winfield, and Bob Boone. Hello, Kenny. Good to see you. All right, here is Foster. Clear to Foster. That's a potential walk, the W there. Foster walks at a 15. Stadium adds 2, makes it a 17. And it is a 17, so Foster will draw the walk. A lot of walks issued by American League pitching. Foster has no stolen bases, so he has no attempt here. So we don't have to worry about the attempt. But we do roll the strategy roll to see if we get a 20. If we get a 20, then we check balks, pickoffs, and pickoffs errors. Anything other than 20, you ignore it. It's 19, it was close. Could make Winfield bunt, but we're not going to do that to poor old Dave Winfield. We're going to have him swing away. He hit a home run last time. Why would he have him bunt? 4-6 for Clear. That's a strikeout plus. So he strikes out at an 8. The plus means you add 10 to it, makes it an 18. Stadium makes it 2, makes it a 20. So it is an automatic strikeout for Dave Winfield. 1 away, and here's Bob Boone. 2-6 for Clear, and that's an automatic out with the star line. Let's see what the star line is. It's a 2. It's a fly to center. Hauled in out there by Fred Lynn. 2 down for Larry Boa. Clear, 1-6 is a walk chance. Boa walks at an 11, plus 2 is a 13. That's a 15, no walk, so Boa will swing away. 3-1, ground ball to first, and that'll do it. So Mark Clear does his job. He goes 1 inning and gives up a walk, nothing else. So we go to the bottom of the 3rd. Andujar will come in to pitch his 2nd inning of work. And then he will leave for a pinch hitter because the pitcher spot is scheduled to lead off the 4th for the National League. Right now, the American League, the pitcher spot is up. So we go to the bench for the American League, and all these American League hitters that we need to get into the game. I mean, you can see there's a whole bunch of them that were here. So Andujar is a righty, so we're going to check lefty and see who we might want to go to as a pinch hitter. And I believe we're going to go to Steve Kemp of the Tigers. So Steve Kemp will hit for Ryan. Mr. Kemp. Kemp will hit for Ryan. Oh, thank you, Paul. I'm trying to explain it. I mean, it's hard to do a tutorial as you're playing it, or because if you do it too much of that, it takes the flow away. But I'm trying to explain things as I do it for people that are unfamiliar with it. I may do a full-blown tutorial on this at some point. I did one long ago, but if I do one now, I'd probably want to make it more updated. So I may do something like that since I am switching over from Fall Classic to this. All right, so Kemp is your pinch hitter. Andujar is his second inning of work. That's 2-5. That's a range play. We got an RP. That's a range play. Who is the range play on? We go to Kemp to find out. 5-5. It's a power result to right field. Andujar is a righty, so we look at the RH, right-handed pitcher, and we're going to scan this result here for a D20 roll. And if it falls into one of these numbers, then that's what happens. We get a 15, so that would be a triple. That should be a triple for Steve Kemp, but it was a range play. So the right fielder, Dave Parker, can take this hit away with a successful range play. Let's look at Parker's range. Parker's range is a 3. So on a 1 to 3 on a D6 roll, that triple will be taken away. 4, 5, or 6, the triple stands. And it's taken away. So Steve Kemp gets robbed by Dave Parker, takes the triple away, and there's one away. Parker already coming up big defensively, not with his arm, but with the range that he had. Nope, Paul. The only thing I'm doing is I do run a ad on the stream after it's already uploaded. I never do it while it's live, but when it's after the fact, I'll run a short ad in the beginning. No mid-roll ads because I can't stand those. So, I'll make a smidgen maybe 3 months from now, but that's about it. Yeah, Thomas, there you go. Throw him out. We could say trying for a triple and throw him out, but that would have to give him a double, so we can't do that. But anyway, here is Andujar to Smalley, 2-2. Smalley is a switch hitter batting left, so that's on the left side of the slash, so it will not be a strikeout chance. It'll be a blank, which means Smalley gets to swing away. Whoa, that got held up. Try again here. 6-6. Fly ball to center. That's 2 away. And that'll bring up George Brett. Probably about the 5th inning is when I'll start trying to implement some substitutes so I can make sure that everybody gets into the game. All right, here's Andujar to Brett. That's a 2-4. That is a home run question mark. So that means it's a possibility that a home run could happen. Brett's a left-handed batter, so we go up here to home run question mark, LHB, 1 to 13. So we roll the D20. If it's a 1 to 13, it doesn't mean a home run has happened. It means it's a chance for a home run. If we roll a 14 or higher, there's no chance for a home run. All right, it's a 2, so that means it's a chance of a home run. So we go to George Brett. His home run rating against a right-handed pitcher is a 14. Stadium doesn't affect that. So 1 to 14, and George Brett goes deep, 15 or higher, then it's not a home run, and we re-roll the hold it bat on George Brett. That's a 16, so no home run, but he's not out. It just means he didn't get the home run. Now we roll on George Brett. 1-5 is a single past first base, so George Brett will settle for a 2-out single. And that's the first hit of the game for the American League. And here's Don Baylor. He got hit by a pitch his first time up. Andujar, 5-4. That's a strikeout chance because Baylor's a right-handed hitter. So we're checking his strikeouts, which aren't much, only a 5, and +2 is a 7. So 1 to 7, and it is a strikeout. So he struck Baylor out, and that's going to end the inning. So Andujar goes 2 innings of shutout ball. And he is done for the night. As his turn, his pitcher spot is going to lead off the top of the fourth. So Andujar is done. American League needs a new pitcher. And probably going to get somebody to go 2 innings. So we're looking more at a starter. And we're going to go to Ron Guidry, Louisiana Lightning for the Yankees. So Ron Guidry is on to pitch. And now the National League needs a pinch hitter because of hitting for Andujar. So we need a pinch hitter. And we're going to be looking at Lou Brock. Lou Brock's going to pinch hit. Lou Brock for the Cardinals. We'll do the pinch hitting here in the top of the fourth. Against, I'm sorry, not Brock. I need a right-hander, not a left-hander. My bad. I don't know why I was thinking it was a right-hander on the mound. Scratch that play. So we're going to have a different pinch hitter. We're going to have Gary Matthews of the Atlanta Braves, the lone Atlanta Braves representative. Gary Matthews. So he will get the pinch hitting call. All right, so here is Guidry to Matthews. 6-5, and that is a walk chance. So Matthews against lefties walks as an 8. Stadium adds 2, gives it a 10. 1 to 10, he walks. He does not, so he will swing away. 2-3, and that is a ground ball to third, 1 away. Matthews. Grounding it to Brett, 1 away. Back to the top of the order, and Davey Lopes. 2-5 on Guidry is a strikeout chance. Lopes striking out at a 9 rate, plus the 2 is an 11. 1 to 11. And he struck him out. So Lopes is out of there. 2 down for Dave Parker. 2-5, another strikeout chance. He strikes out at a 10, plus the 2 is a 12. That's an 18, so Parker will swing. 3-4, and that's a ground ball right back to Guidry, and that will end the inning. So nothing doing there for the National League. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Still a 2-0 ball game, and now the National League will need a new pitcher. And they will go to Gaylord Perry of the San Diego Padres. Gaylord Perry will make his way on. And he'll be facing Rice, Lynn, and Yastrzemski for the American League. Hello, Robert. So Perry, 3-5, and that's a blank. We go to Rice, 4-5, and that is a fly to center field. So Rice flies out to Winfield, 1 away. And here is Fred Lynn, center fielder. Freddie Lynn. Perry, 2-6, and that's a blank. Would have been a strikeout chance to a right-hander, but Lynn's a lefty, so that's a blank. We go to Lynn. 4-3, and that's a split. And against a right-handed pitcher, that's going to be a single to first base. So Fred Lynn with the base hit, and that's going to send up Yastrzemski. Strategy roll. Now, he won the Cy Young in 78, did Gaylord Perry for the National League. Let's see here. Yastrzemski. I'm sorry, Perry. Let's see here. 1-5. That's a home run question mark. At least I think it was 78. I know Vida Blue won it one year and he won it the next. It might have been 79, but his record wasn't very good if he won the Cy Young. Just 12-11. A home run question mark against a lefty. That's a 1 to 10. So 1 to 10 is a chance of a home run. That's a 14, so it won't be a chance of a home run. So Yastrzemski will just swing away. Whoops, I got held up. 1-5, and that's a single to right field. Single to right field for Yastrzemski. Now keep in mind the right fielder arm is Dave Parker, who's a -1. So Lynn is a 2. So if you don't make a cheat sheet like RJL used to make, then you use this chart. Single to right field, to go from first to third, you add 2 to the base runners. So Lynn's a 2, we add 2 to it, makes it a 4, but Parker is a -1. So it is a 1 to 3. And that's a 1, so he's safely in there. And now Yastrzemski has a chance to take second on the throw since we got a 1 there. So we're going to re-roll on Yastrzemski's card and see if he gets a 1 or a 2. He does not, so he holds at first base. So runners are at the corners with only 1 out for Darryl Porter. Okay, I thought it was 78. I thought so. So RJL, if you see me doing something wrong, or if anybody sees me doing something wrong, let me know, because like I said, it's been a while. I've only played that 1 game last Saturday, and that was it. So trying to make sure I can do what I need to do. All right, the infield's going to play for the double play. Darryl Porter, your batter. That's a 20. So since we rolled a 20, that means we get to check for a potential pickoff or pickoff error. And if it's a successful pickoff, the rules say lead runner, or that's what's suggested to get the lead runner. So we're going to roll the D20 again. If it's a 1, then Fred Lynn gets picked off. If it's a 2, Perry throws it away trying to pick him off. If it's a 3, then it's nothing happening. And it's nothing happening. So now we finish with that. Now we go to the at bat. Here's Perry. 2-2, it's a blank. We go to Darryl Porter. 6-3, and that is a ground ball to first base. Ground ball to first base, potential double play. He's a 2. He's a 0. You don't get the halfway benefit when it's hit to first base. You don't get that extra boost. So it stays a 2, but the pivot at short can boost it a little bit. Shortstop Boa, though, is a 0 pivot. So it's only a 1 to 2 for a double play. But he'll get the 2. It is a double play. So it will be a 3-6-3 double play to end the inning and get the National League out of further trouble. Or out of any trouble, I should say. They're actually leading 2-0. So I don't know why I said further trouble, but it gets them out of the inning. Gaylord Perry does his thing. And we go to the 5th. Still 2-0. National League. And now we're going to start having some wholesale substitutions. So the scheduled hitter is Steve Garvey, but he will be called back, and Mr. Pete Rose will take over at first base. So Rose will take over for Garvey, and he is a 2 with a 4 on his rating. And this is going to be wholesale because we're trying to get all these players in the game as much as I can. All right, so Pete Rose, switch hitter. Coming on to face Guidry. 5-3 for Guidry, and that's a possible error. We go to Rose's card. Whoops. Rose's card. We get a 5-6. It's a ground ball to second base. We're checking the second baseman, Lopes. Frank White. Frank White's error rating is only a 5. So it has to be a 1 to 5 to be an error. It's a 4, so he boots it. Wow. Shoddy fielding there. Pete Rose will reach on the E4. So he reaches, and now we'll get a pinch hitter from Mike Schmidt. He's the next scheduled hitter, but we're going to another third baseman for the National League, and that will be Ron Say. Ron Say will take over for Schmidt. And he's going to be a 3 and a 5. So Say is on. Guidry to Say. Whoops, got held up. There we go. 3-1. And that's a walk plus to a right-handed hitter. He walks at a 14 against lefties. The plus makes it a 24, so that's automatic. So Ron Say will draw the pinch hit walk. And now that brings up George Foster. And Foster will be called back. And let's see who they decide to bring in for Foster. Looks like it will be Jack Clark. And he'll stay in the game to play left field. Jack Clark. First and second, nobody out. Guidry, 6'5". That's another walk chance. Clark walks at a 17 against lefties, plus the 2's a 19. And he's going to walk to load the bases. Guidry in trouble. Bases are loaded. Next up scheduled is Winfield. Is Winfield, but he won't bat. We'll get somebody else to play center field. And that will be the New York Mets' own Lee Mazzilli. So Mazzilli will take over, pinch hit for Winfield, and play center field, where he's a 2-2 and a 0. Bullpen action for the American League bullpen is Guidry's in some serious trouble. So looking at their bullpen, they do have right-hander Stan, the man unusual for the Orioles. He is loosening in their bullpen, maybe to try to get him, possibly get him out of a mess here. Bases are loaded via an error and 2 walks, so not even a hit. An error and 2 walks, bases are loaded, and Lee Mazzilli the batter. Infield with nobody out there. They need outs. They're playing for a double play. 2-4. He really needs a strikeout. 2-4 would have been a strikeout plus to a lefty, but Mazzilli is a switch hitter, so that's a blank. We go to Mazzilli. 6-6. That's a fly to right field, but it could be a sacrifice fly. Mazzilli's sac fly rating is a 1, so there's 2 checks for a sacrifice fly. First one's on the batter card. A 1. If we roll a 1, it's a sacrifice fly. It is not. So now the second check, we come over here to this chart, and we're looking at a fly ball modifier on fly outs. Let's see here. Roll 3d6. Yeah, right here. So let's see here. The fly out went to right field. All right, so the right fielder is right now Jim Rice. Got a 0 arm. Okay, so Rice with a 0 arm. So I'm trying to remember here, RJL, you might be able to help me on this. I'm doing the actual starting lineups, Paul, but after that it's Free Willy. Let's see here. Trying to remember. Run on third, less than 2 outs, roll 1d6. If roll is higher, go to step 2. Step 2, re-roll 3d6 and OTC chart. So we come over here to the OTC chart. The 0 arm from Rice. So we're checking the 0 arm. If we roll a 1 to 3, then we go to this third chart about runner advancement. If we roll a 4 to 6, then that means, wait a minute, let me get here. Fly. Yeah, if we roll a 4 to 6, that means he has to hold. So we get a 5. That means it was not deep enough. It fell into the 4 to 6 category, so he has to hold. It's just a fly to right that nobody could advance on. So I'm hoping I did that right, RJL. I'm hoping I did that right. All right, so Gary Carter is going to hit for Bob Boone, as Bob Boone was the next scheduled hitter. But he won't hit. It'll be Gary Carter. Gary Carter is going to come in the game to catch, pinch hit, and then catch. Gary Carter. 1 away. Base is still loaded, looking for the double play. Guidry really could use a strikeout about now. 6-3, he's got a chance. That's a strikeout chance. Carter is only a 6 against lefties, but the stadium does add 2 to make it an 8. And that's a 16, so it does not strike out. Carter, though, potential double play chance if we get a ground ball. It's a 1-5. It's a fly to left. We go through the same process. Sacrifice fly rating on Carter is a 2. 1 to 2 is a sacrifice fly. Nope. So now we go again. The left fielder arm is Baylor. He's a +2, so this could very well end up being a good sacrifice fly. +2. +2. I mean, this doesn't make any sense here. +2 should be a bad arm, not a good arm. So this is where I'm a little bit, I haven't played in a while, so I'm a little confused on trying to do this. Doesn't make any sense. It seemed like to me this is backwards. Well, maybe that means I've mixed him out. Okay, so if we roll a 1, if we roll it, I said it doesn't make any sense. I guess this is +2, but it says runners hold. I mean, to me, if it's a +2 arm, it should pretty much score automatically. So this one is a little bit confusing. I'm not sure if somebody can give me some quick assistance here just to make sure what I'm doing here. The outfield arm in left field is a +2, but it doesn't make sense what I'm seeing here. So that's what's throwing me off. Let's see here. OTC chart. What did I roll? I rolled a 6 originally for Gary Carter, and that failed. He has a 2 rating for a sacrifice fly. So now, since that failed, I was going to the second check. And the outfielder arm is a +2, but it's telling me that if it's a 2 through 6, he's got a hold. To me, if he's got a bad arm like +2, the runner ought to have a much better chance of scoring. All right, I rolled again. I got a 5. I got another 6. And this is runner's hold, but that doesn't make any sense to me. But that's the way I'll play it, I guess. Since I roll back-to-back 6s, I'll say they hold. Don't look at the chart, you're telling me. Where am I? Well, that's what it's telling me to do. It says here, if roll is higher than a sacrifice fly rating, then go to step 2, otherwise runners score. Well, step 2 is re-roll and look on the OTC chart with only base runner and outfield arm, which is what I'm looking at here. At least that's what I thought I was looking. Or am I supposed to be looking up here? I don't know. So that's something I got to get my bearings down on again, because I haven't played this game in, obviously quite some time. So Guidry's gotten the first 2 outs with the bases loaded on shallow fly balls. And now Larry Boa is your scheduled hitter, but of course he will not bat. And instead, we will go to Gary Templeton. Templeton will take over as the shortstop, and he will be the pinch hitter. Gary Templeton. And if he reaches, we'll have a pinch hitter for Gaylord Perry as well. So Templeton will bat as a switch hitter. Guidry, 4-5. And that's a potential walk chance because Templeton's a switch hitter batting right-handed, so it's a potential walk chance. But he only walks at a 2. +2 is a 4, so he doesn't walk very much. 1 to 4, he still walks. He does not. So now Templeton has to earn it. 4-1, he does not. It's a star 1, ground ball to third, and Guidry gets out of the mess. Pretty impressive. Bases loaded, nobody out, and Guidry pitches out of the jam. I would say that's pretty impressive. So nothing doing for the National League. The score stays 2-0. That's it for Guidry. He's done. His spot in the order is coming up second, so he is actually out of there. Perry will pitch again for another inning, as he is on deck. The pitcher's set to hit next after that, so it'll be, well, the scheduled hitter will be Frank White. He hasn't had, we're going to go ahead and let Frank White hit. I let everybody have, the National League guys all got 2 at-bats. So I want to make sure the American League American League guys get 2 at-bats. So Frank White's the only one that has not had 2 at-bats. As a starter, I think he deserves 2 at-bats. So I'm going to give him the 2 at-bats. And that's where we'll go from there. Let me get my lineup together here. Parker, Rose, Say, Clark, Mazzilli, Carter, and Templeton. Okay, I got it straight there. All right, so the American League will need a pinch hitter for Guidry, who's on deck. And let's see who the pinch hitter is going to be. Pinch hitter will be Ken Singleton. So it'll be Frank White followed by Ken Singleton of the Orioles. Singleton will get the call to pinch hit. Right now, though, it's Frank White. Gaylord Perry to Frank White. 1-6 is a blank. We go to White. 2-2, and he pops it to third, 1 away. And now Frank White will be replaced in the lineup in the American League by a second baseman. And that will be Bobby Grich. So Bobby Grich will take over at second base going forward for Frank White. And now we have the pinch hitter Singleton pinch hitting against Perry. 6-6 is a ballpark card. First time going to Kingdom for the ballpark card. We get another 6-6. That's a single plus to left field. So Singleton will single, and he has to try for second base. The left fielder in this game, the new left fielder, is Jack Clark. And Jack Clark's arm, if you look at his arm, Jack Clark's arm is a -1. So Singleton's a 2, -1's a 1. So roll a 1, he takes second on a double. 2 through 5 he holds. 6 he could be out. That's 5 he's going to hold for a single. So Singleton will stay where he is with the base hit. And now the wholesale changes for the American League are coming. We need a new shortstop for the American League. And let's see who that's going to be. That is going to be Rick Burleson of the Boston Red Sox. So Burleson will pinch hit for Smalley. Greg Nettles will come in and pinch hit for Brett. So we're going to have Nettles, Burleson and Nettles, next 2 hitters for the American League as Brett is out of there. So Rick Burleson steps to the plate. 2-6, and that's a strikeout chance for Perry. Burleson only strikes out at a 5. Stadium adds 2, makes it a 7. And no strikeout, so Burleson will swing. 4-3, and that's a single to right field, so we'll see if Singleton can take third or not. Again, Dave Parker is in right field, -1. Singleton is a 2, but to go from first to third, you add 2, makes him a 4. The -1 makes him a 3. So 1 to 3, and he'll be in there safely. And that's a 1, so he's in there. Burleson has a chance to take second on the throw. He needs a 3 or less, and he gets it. So Burleson will take second on the throw. So probably an ill-advised throw by Parker there. With a 2-0 lead, you want to keep the tie and run out of scoring position, but he felt a little froggy with the good arm there, and it cost him. So runners are at second and third now with 1 out. And that brings up Greg Nettles. National League bullpen. Let's see if they want to give somebody in case Perry gets into trouble earlier than expected. They do have Joe Sambito loosening the bullpen just in case they need to get out of a jam. Right now they're going to let Perry try to work his way out. Infield is back, of course, with 1 out and runners at second and third. Perry, 6-4. That's a pitcher result. Nettles is a lefty, so a 1-2 is a single. And S1 means runners advance 2 bases automatically from second base. So with tie the game, 3 or higher, it's a blank. That's a blank. So we go to Nettles' card to finish the at bat. 2-2, and he flies to center field again. Is it a sacrifice fly? His sacrifice fly rating is a 3. And that's a 2, so it will be a sacrifice fly, and Singleton does score. So sacrifice fly by Greg Nettles cuts the lead to 2-1. Now they're 2 away. Staying at second base is Burleson. Now, scheduled hitter is Don Baylor, but of course we will have a pinch hitter for Baylor. And as we look at the outfielders and whatnot, who they might want to use. This is interesting. They will go with, they're going to go with our boy Reggie Jackson. Hot Dog Jackson's going to pinch hit. He will stay in the game to play left field, even though he's not rated. It's an all-star game. But from right to left, I'm going to give him the same rating, 2-3-0. I'm not going to penalize him. If he's going to center, I'd take 1 away. But since it's the same corner outfield position, we won't mess with that. So Reggie going to pinch hit against Gaylord Perry with 2 outs and Burleson at second base. 5-5 is a strikeout chance. Reggie strikes out at 17, plus 2 is a 19, and he struck him out. So Gaylord Perry finishes up his 2 innings, striking out Reggie. But at least the American League gets on the board. It is now a 2-1 game as we head to the 6th. And now let's see. Coming in the game for the American League to pitch. Let's see who they might want to go to. Let's see. Coming up, let's see who they want to use here. He's not here, but it's his favorite guy. Just for Uncle Ron, we'll bring in Bob Stanley. So Bob Stanley will come in and pitch. And he will face a pinch hitter because it is Perry's turn at the plate, but we do have a pinch hitter. And the pinch hitter is going to be Keith Hernandez. So Hernandez will pinch hit. To start things off here against Bob Stanley. 3-6, and that's a range play. So we're going to Hernandez for a range play. Oops, I got it hung up. Hernandez for a range play. 1-6, that's a single to first, but it's a range check on the first baseman. And the American League first baseman is still Yaz. We have not subbed out yet, so it's still Yaz. His range is a 5. So 1-5, and he makes the play. That's a 6. It gets by him. Wow. You would think he would have, just sometimes you just get a bad break. That's just all there is to it. So on a failed range play, we re-roll again, see if it's a single or a double by this little pink box here. 1-4, it stays a single. 5-6, it becomes a double. And that's going to be a single for Keith Hernandez. Sneaks it right past Yastrzemski for the base hit. Pinch hit single. And now Davey Lopes, your scheduled hitter, but of course he's going to be called back. And we will go to Mr. Joe Morgan. He may have been injured for this game, I'm not sure, but I'm going to play him anyway. It's either that or let Morgan play second the whole game because there's no other second baseman on the roster. So we're going to have Morgan pinch hitting. Stanley, 2-2. That's a walk chance. Morgan walks an awful lot. And, in fact, it'll be automatic because he walks at an 18. The +2 is a 20. So that walk is automatic from Morgan. Parker, the right fielder, I will let him continue to hit because he was in the game late in real world to make those throws, so I'm not going to take him out. We're going to let him, he gets the one exemption to keep going, at least for a little while longer. Stanley, 3-4, that's a blank. We go to Parker. 5-3, and that is a single past first base. So we go to our base running chart, S3. To score from second base, you have to have a 4 through 6 run rating. Hernandez is a 4, so he will score. Morgan, to get from first to third, you need a 2 through 6. He's a 3, so he will go there. So Dave Parker, an RBI single. And boy, Bob Stanley's not doing so well. Hernandez scores, makes it 3-1. And that'll bring up Pete Rose. American League bullpen. They have activity out in the bullpen. They have Sid Manji loosening in the bullpen just in case they want to get out of a jam. Right now, Stanley is in there. Nobody out. Runners on the corners. Strategy roll. Nothing happening on that. Infield looking for the double play. They're back for a double play. Stanley, 1-5. That's a potential error on a ground ball. So we'll see if Rose actually hits a ground ball or not. That's a 5-1. It's a fly to left, so there's no error chance to worry about. But we are looking at sacrifice flies. He's a 2. And it is a sacrifice fly. Morgan scores. Another run is in. Sacrifice fly by Rose. 2 runs are in. It's now 4-1 in favor of the National League. And that brings up Ron Say at third base. Stanley, 1-5, another potential error on the ground ball. 2-1, it's a ground ball to third, so this time we are checking for an error. The third baseman is Nettles. Check his error rating. He's an E7. So 1-7, we have an error. We do not. So now it's potential double play. He's a 3, +1 makes it a 4. Infield halfway makes it a 5. Pivot at second base is Gritch, and his pivot rating is a +1, makes it a 6. So the only way it's not a double play is on a 6. If you roll a 6, it's runner advance automatically. 1-5, it's an inning-ending double play. And that's what we have. Inning is over. 5-4-3 around the horn double play, hit in 2 by Ron Say. But 2 runs for the National League, and they take a 4-1 lead into the bottom of the 6th. 4-1 lead. That's it for Stanley. He made Uncle Ron proud, I'm sure. So now I got to make sure I got my ducks in a row here for who's batting where. Jack Clark's going to... Yeah, he's next up. Okay, so we need a pitcher for the National League. And let's see who the pitcher might be. Pitcher for the National League. Let's see. We've had Andujar Perry. So we're going to go to Joe Niekro of the Astros. Knuckleballer Joe Niekro. And scheduled up is Rice, but of course we're going to our benches to get these guys in the game. So Rice is going to come out. Need a new right fielder. And the new right fielder, let's see who that's going to be. Who might they use in the outfield? Got a lot of first basemen on the roster for some reason. Maybe I should have been using them as pinch hitters instead of something else. Could leave Yaz in the game and let him play the outfield. I guess that's what we'll have to do. Can move Reggie back to right field. So I think that's what we're going to do. Chet Lemon will come in and hit for Fred Lynn and play center field. But we're going to have Rod Carew come in and hit. for Jim Rice. Rod Carew. Jackson will move from left field to right field. Yaz will move from first base to left field. And Carew will take over at first base. Rod Carew leads things off against the knuckleballer Joe Niekro. 5-6, that's an automatic out on a star line. Star line for Niekro is a 1, which is a fly to center. And so Carew is out of there. 1 down, that brings up potentially Fred Lynn, but he will come out. And Chet Lemon will take his place. Lone representative of the White Sox, Chet Lemon. Niekro 5-3 is a walk chance. Lemon walks at a 12, +2 from the stadium's a 14. And that's a 5, so he will walk. Chet Lemon, a 1-out walk. Yastrzemski will stay in the game out of necessity because there don't have any other outfielders. So Yastrzemski will stay in the game. Niekro rather, 5-5. That's an automatic out again. It is a 1, another fly to center, 2 down. And now we need another catcher for Porter. And going to the American League roster to get the other catcher. That other catcher is Brian Downing. So Downing will take over behind the plate. And he will hit with 2 outs and Lemon at first base. Niekro, 1-2, and that is a strikeout chance. Downing is an 8, plus the 2 is a 10. So he does strike him out. That's it. That's going to do it for the American League. They trail 4-1 as we go to the 7th inning. And I believe that's probably going to be all for Niekro. We'll see, because his spot in the order may come up. We'll take a peek ski on that in a second. Right now, the American League needs a new pitcher. So let's see who they might want to bring in to replace who they had. Let's look and see who's available. They're going to bring in the lone representative from the Toronto Blue Jays, Dave LeManchik. He will come in and pitch. And he will be facing Jack Clark. Different giant, Jack Clark. Jack Clark will step up. LeManchik, 6'5", that's an automatic out. And the automatic out will be ground ball to second, 1 away. Brings up Mazzilli, followed by Gary Carter. 1-6, and that's a pitcher result. 1-11. I'm sorry, he's a switch hitter. 1-2, it's a single. And that's a 15, so it's a blank. We go to Mazzilli. 2-2, that's a fly to right, 2 down. So 2 quick outs, and here's Gary Carter. 2-4, he's potentially hit by a pitch. He's a 6, but LeManchik's a +10. A 16 for a hit by pitch, and it is plunked. So Gary Carter gets on with a hit by pitch, and we bring up Mr. Templeton. And then the pitcher spot, Niekro, would be on deck if Templeton reaches. LeManchik, 4-4, and against a switch hitter Templeton, that's a blank. So Templeton, 2-4. That's a triple. That's a rare time you see that. A straight out triple on somebody's card there. A 2-4 is a T7. No, it's not the newest Terminator series. It's a T7, a triple. A triple for Gary Templeton. That scores Carter, and now we'll get a pinch hitter for Necro. As Gary Templeton strokes a triple. National League now goes up 5-2. And we go to the bench for the National League for a pinch hitter. Looking potentially for a left-handed pinch hitter, if they have any left on the bench. Let's see who they might want to use here. They're going to use Ted Simmons, switch hitter. So Ted Simmons will pinch hit. Runner on third and 2 outs. That's a 20. So a 1-3 is a pickoff. 4-6 is a pickoff error. That is a 12. He gets back. O-Matic, 6-6, strikeout chance on Simmons. He only strikes out as a 5, +2 is a 7. So he will get the swing. 2-2, and he flies to right field to end the inning. But an insurance run comes in, and we go to the 7th inning stretch. It is National League 5 and American League 1. Now the National League will need a new pitcher. That's it for O-Matic as well. This is 1 inning, and he's done. So the National League going to the bullpen. And let's see who they might want to bring in. They are looking at bringing in Steve Rogers from Montreal Expos. Steve Rogers. And he will be facing Downing, Gritch, and a pinch hitter. So Downing, Gritch, and a pinch hitter are the scheduled hitters for the American League. So let's look at the pinch hitters, and it looks like Seattle's own Bruce Bochy will get the pinch hitting call. So it'll be Downing, Gritch, and Bochy to make the home folks happy. All right, so Steve Rogers facing Brian Downing, bottom of the 7th. Rogers 4-5, and that is a walk plus, so that will be an automatic walk to Downing. Downing will draw the leadoff walk. Brings up Bobby Gritch. 1-4, that's a strikeout chance. Gritch strikes out at a 10, plus the 2 is a 12. 19, he will not strike out. Gritch 1-4, it's a single pass short. And I believe he just gets the 1 base, but we'll verify. Go to the S6 chart. To get from first to third, you got to have a 5 or 6 run rating. He only runs at a 3, so just the 1 base. But now something's cooking. First and second, nobody out, and Seattle's own Bruce Bochy, a 316 hitter, is going to pinch hit here against Rogers. 2-3 is a blank. We go to Bochy. 4-6, and that is a single past second base for Bruce Bochy. Bruce Bochy, single pass second to get from home, second to home on a single pass second. On the S4, all you need is a 2 or higher. He's a 3, so Downing will score. Gritch, to get from first to third, you need a 3 or higher to get from first to third. He's only a 2, so he will stop at second base. But Bruce Bochy, RBI single, cuts the lead to 5-2. And now the National League bullpen again starts to stir as Joe Sambito is loosening in the National League bullpen in case you need to get out of a jam. Rick Burleson is your batter. And we'll see what else they've got going on. Anybody else they might want to turn to? Oh, so we're going to have Rick Burleson stepping up against Rogers. 4-2. That is a strikeout chance. The W is only if he's tired, but it's a strikeout chance. He only strikes out at a 5, plus 2 from the stadium's a 7. So, but this time Burleson will strike out courtesy of the stadium. Stadium causes the strikeout. 1 away. And that brings up Nettles, third baseman. Nettles, the third baseman. And let's see here. They're going to bring in Joe Sambito. With the two lefties coming up, they're going to bring in Sambito. Joe Sambito is coming on to face these two lefties, Nettles and Reggie Jackson. First and second, one out. 1-6. That's a walk chance for Nettles, which is a 1-8. Plus the 2 is a 10. No walk, so Nettles will swing away. 3-3, and that's a fly to right field. 2 down. We'll see if the runner, Gritch at second base, wants to try to go to third or not. He runs at a 2. Again, in the outfield is Parker, -1. So that would make him, let's see here, fly ball to right. Whoops, fly ball to right is a -1 on the factor. He's a 2, and with Parker being a -1, it makes him a 0, so he cannot advance. Even if he wanted to, he has no option. So that's going to bring up Reggie. Lefty for Reggie. Sambito, 2-2, strikeout chance. He strikes out at a 17, plus 2 is a 19. Sambito gets it done. He comes in and gets 2 quick outs to get him out of the jam, hold the American League to 1 run, and we go to the 8th. It's 5-2. I'm sure Reggie's not too happy about it either. So the American League now will need a new pitcher for the top of the 8th, and we'll see who they decide to go to. They will go to Jim Kern from the Texas Rangers. Jim Kern will be on. He will face the top of the order, Joe Morgan, Dave Parker, and Pete Rose. But I think we're going to finally pinch hit for Parker, perhaps. Maybe. Looks like we will, just to get some extra guys in the game. Kind of have to. So in left field is Jack Clark. He will move to right field. And Dave Kingman will come in and hit for Parker and play left field. So Kingman will come in and hit for Parker. Dave Kingman. So it's Jim Kern against Joe Morgan, top of the 8th of a 5-2 ball game. 6-3, and that is a double question mark against lefties. Out is a 1-8. And it's a 9, so we go to Morgan. 6-3, it's a single past first base for Joe Morgan. Morgan singles to lead off the 8th. And I believe strategy rolls are off because it's a 3-run difference and only 2 innings to go until the 9th. So no strategy rolls are needed going forward unless the game gets closer. So Dave Kingman to pinch hit for Parker against Kern. 5-3 for Kern is a strikeout plus, and you know Kingman's going to strike out. So Kingman is out on strikes. That'll bring up Pete Rose. See if there's anybody else that wants to play first base in place of Rose. Do they have any first basemen out there? I think that's pretty much it. So Rose is going to stay in the game. 2. Oh, that's right. We're not using strategy rolls. That's right. Never mind. 1-6 strikeout chance. Rose is only a 4. No strikeout. And here is Rose. 6-4. And that's a ground ball to second. Could be a double play. He's a 3. 0. Pivot at short. Shortstop is Burleson, and his pivot is a +1. So that makes this a 5. 1-5, it's a double play. And it is. So Pete Rose hits into the double play, and that will end the inning. It's going to go 4-6-3. DP And Jim Kern successfully goes 1 inning, not giving up anything. Now we go to the National League, and it's going to be Joe Sambito. No, I'm sorry, Joe Sambito was already in there. Never mind, he finished. So we're actually going to Mike Lacoste of the Cincinnati Reds. He will be the new pitcher, Mike Lacoste. And Lacoste will face Chet Lemon, followed by Yastrzemski and Downing. Bottom of the 8th, still 5-2. Mike Lacoste for the Reds. And they got Bruce Sutter ready for the 9th. So here's Lacoste, 6-5. That's an automatic out on Chet. And the out is a ground ball to short. So ground ball to Templeton. 1 away. I'm sorry, that was a bat. That was my mistake. That bat does not count. I got my stuff out of order. Rod Carew is actually up to bat, not Chet Lemon. Rod Carew is in front of Lemon because Carew is hitting in the 4th spot ahead of Jim Rice. So let me fix that. This is a do-over. So that at bat did not count. Should be Carew and then Lemon, then Yaz. So sorry about that. Reboot. Lacoste 3-1 ballpark card going to the Kingdom for Rod Carew. 4-6, and he's going to fly to the left. So out either way you go. Now we get to Chet Lemon. 4-6, and that's a potential error on a throw. 2-2 is a single past first base. Single past first base, so I don't think. Let's see if there's a potential throwing error for that. Number 9. All right, so potential on a bad throw that could extend it. So we're looking at Pete Rose's error rating at first base, which is a 4. 1-4, he has a throwing error. He does not. So Lemon will reach on the base hit for Yaz. 3-1 for Lacoste. Back to the ballpark card for the Kingdom for Yaz. 6-3, and that's a star 1. Ground ball to second, potential double play. Yaz is a 2. Lacoste adds 1, makes it a 3. They were halfway as a 4. Pivoted short, Templeton is a 0. 1-4, it's a double play. And it is a double play, and that'll end the inning. So Lacoste does his job, goes the 1 inning, gets Yaz to hit into a double play. 4-6-3. And we go to the 9th. Still a 5-2 ball game in the 9th inning. Bruce Sutter will come in the bottom of the 9th for the National League, but the American League needs a new pitcher as well. And they will go to the second to last pitcher on the roster that has not been used yet. Actually, they have a couple that haven't been used yet. They're going to go to Sid Manji. Manji will pitch, and he will face, let's make sure I got my right guys in line. We've got Say, Clark, and Mazzilli are the scheduled hitters. Say, Clark, and Mazzilli. Unless we want to go to somebody else. Actually, we will put in some other players to get some at-bats. So pinch hitting for Ron Say will be Larry Parrish of the Expos. So Parrish will hit for Say. This will be Parrish against Manji. Top of the 9th, 5-2 ball game. 3-4, and that's a home run question mark. 1-13, and that passes. Parrish against lefties, though, is only a 1-8, and he misses out. So Parrish will swing. 2-1, ground ball to short, one away. Parrish is out. That brings up Jack Clark, who is back in his familiar left field spot now. I'm sorry, right field spot, as Kingman's in left, so he's in his familiar right field spot. 6-1, range play at the park. 4-3, and that's a ground ball in front of the plate. So we're going to check the catcher, Gary Carter. His range is a 5. Best you can have. 1 to 5, he makes the play. I'm sorry, it's the American League defense. My bad. What am I doing? American League defense. And the catcher there in the American League is Brian Downing. His range is only a 2. But he makes the play anyway and gets Jack Clark out of there. Brings up Mazzilli. So that goes 2 to 3 for Lee Mazzilli. 4-1, strikeout plus. Mazzilli 8. The plus is an 18. The stadium makes it a 20, so it is a strikeout. And that will end the inning. So Manji does his job. Pitches a scoreless 9th. 5-2 ball game, and the National League will turn it over to Bruce Sutter to try to finish the deal. And we'll see about some American League pinch hitting as well, as we got several guys that need to come in and pinch hit. And pinch hitting for the American League is going to be Jeff Newman. He will pinch hit for Downing. Jeff Newman. Newman will come in and pinch hit for Downing against Bruce Sutter. 4-2, and that's an automatic out. And the out will be a ground ball to third. So Newman is out of there. So Bruce Sutter is like, hello, Newman. So he's out. Sends up Bobby Grich. Bobby Grich. Where did you go, Bobby Grich? Actually, we will not have Bobby Grich. We will have a pinch hitter, and it's going to be Cecil Cooper. Cecil Cooper will pinch hit for Grich. Sutter, 1-4, strikeout chance. Cooper strikes out an 11, plus the 2 is a 13. But he does not strike out. Cooper gets the swing. 4-1, he's going to fly to left, 2 down. And last chance, we got a pinch hitter for the pitcher. Need a pinch hitter for Mr. Manji. So let's see who they got left who they can use to pinch hit. American League. Who do they have remaining? Did I use all my pinch hitters? Don't tell me I did that. Looks like I accidentally used all my pinch hitters. So I'm going to have to make a rule and bring somebody back in. And we will bring back in, let's see, we will bring back in the hometown boy, Bhakti, and let him hit again. I messed up and used up I was trying to get everybody in there and ended up using too many guys. So Bhakti's going to pinch hit for a second time. It's the All-Star game. What the hey? Sutter, 5-6. That's a strikeout plus. I don't think it's going to matter. That makes him a 19. So with the +2 from Stadium, that's it. All game's over. National League defeats the American League by the score of 5. The 0 in the wrong spot there, didn't it? Score of 5-2. National League wins it 5-2. Winning pitcher, we'll give it to Joaquin Andujar. And the losing pitcher is Nolan Ryan. Save goes to Bruce Sutter. So that was a wild and woolly one. Kind of a rough game when you haven't played the game in a while to do an all-star game, but thought I'd take it on and see what I could do. Trying to get everybody in the game as much as possible. There were a couple guys that did not get in the game, a couple of pitchers anyway, from the American League. We did not get a chance to see Tommy John or Don Stanhouse. Those are two guys that did not get in the game from the American League. From the National League, as far as position players, let's see who didn't make it for the position players. There's got to be some people in here that didn't get a chance. Looks like John. Did I do John Stearns of the Mets? I think John Stearns didn't get in the game. And Dave Concepcion didn't get in the game. And Johnny Bench, but I think Bench was hurt, so that's why I didn't want to use him. But everybody else, I've tried to get as many people in the game as possible. Yeah, Brian B., I guess I could have made my long laundry list and done all that stuff. But what I should have done in forethought was seeing that the American League had so many first basemen on the roster and not that many outfielders. I should have pinch hit with the first baseman and saved guys like Steve Kemp to play and Singleton to play in the outfield instead of using them as pinch hitters. That's what I would have done differently. I would have used first baseman to pinch hit and not the outfielders. But, hey, what are you going to do? So, anyway, there you go. Paul, I'm back tomorrow morning for the 1987 Strat-O-Matic American League replay, as usual. We'll be in Oakland, Boston Red Sox, Oakland A's, Bruce Hurst against Jose Rijo. That'll be roughly between 9 and 9:15 tomorrow morning, sometime in there. Tomorrow night, it is back to the Colorado Rockies. They will be Colorado Rockies will be hosting the Cincinnati Reds. And the first game of a 6-game homestand, 3 against Cincinnati, 3 against Atlanta. Your earlier question. I did play Status Pro way back in the day. I've played it off and on, but not in a while. I mean, it's a decent game. It's just I prefer dice over fast action cards. But there's certainly, Status Pro is the first board game I ever had was Status Pro, back when I was a teenager, college. Status Pro was the only game. That was the game that was in the toy stores that I was able to find. So, Ernest replay. Most people, if you watch most videos that people put on YouTube, whether it's me, RJL, Ron, Gardner, whoever, if you look at the total views, you might get 150, 200 total views or whatever it happens to be. You might get 5% of the total audience is live. Everybody else is catching it on the replay. Yes, Brian B., the Reds are on tomorrow night. Strat-O-Matic 2025. It'll be left-hander for the Reds. I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name now. Andrew Abbott. That's his name. Andrew Abbott's going to start for the Reds against Kyle Freeland. That is the pitching matchup for tomorrow night at Coors Field. So thank you all for staying up late with me. I was trying to hold off as long as I could starting this, trying to let RJL finish his game as much as I could. So yeah, Andrew Abbott's on the mound. Game 2, it's going to be Hunter Green. And I think Game 3 is Lodolo or somebody like that. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. But I know that Game 2 is Green. It's Hunter Green. Game 1 is Andrew Abbott. Game 2 is Hunter Green. But after that, I can't remember. And then after the 3 games of Cincinnati, the Atlanta Braves will come to Coors Field, and we'll do that. So my goal is to get 20 wins out of the first 59 games. They were real world 9-50, and we've already got 10 wins through the first 24 games. So we're going for 20 wins. That's our goal, to get 20 wins before the 59th game comes around. And we'll see if we can pull it off. So thank you all for being here with me on this. NBC Game of the Week resumes on Saturday with the 1979 Inside Pitch. It'll be a colorful game, as you will have the Pittsburgh Pirates hosting the Houston Astros. So one good thing about Inside Pitch are the team colors. So when you have the Pirates facing the Astros, then you end up, if I can find his card here, what happened to him? Did I lose him? Where did you go? There he is. No, that's not him. There he is. If you're the Pirates and the Astros, you get some nice coloring in that game. It'll be from Pittsburgh. Astros and the Pirates. That's the NBC game of the week on Saturday, 1979. Oof. I do the music, yes. Before the game, when I first hit play or first hit stream, the music is on for about the first 20 seconds. And I take the music from the Game 6 of the 1975 World Series. I use that NBC music. So, yes, I do. All right, so that's going to do it from here. And I know everybody's getting close to their bedtime probably. I don't know. I guess the regular All-Star game is still going on. I care less about that. But anyway, 5-2, National League wins it. Player of the game, I'm not sure who the player of the game would be. I don't even know who you'd want to give the player of the game to the National League. Winfield hit a home run, but, you know, it's kind of hard. They don't get that many bats, so it's kind of hard to pick a player of the game. So, I don't know. He hit the only home run of the game, so maybe we'll give it to Winfield. I don't know. But anyway, that's going to do it from here. Till next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play. Yes, Strat-O-Matic is my favorite by far. Yes, absolutely. So, till next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and we will see you all down the road.